Hey guys, Joe from Extreme Terrain. Today I'm going to be reviewing and showing you how to install the Rough Country Bull Bar with 20-inch LED light bar in black, fitting all 16 and newer Tacomas. Now something like this is going to be perfect for the Tacoma owner who's looking to get that protection and off-road styling of a bull bar, but also wants that added utility with an included 20-inch light bar. This bull bar is made out of 3-inch diameter tubing and features a thick black powder coating that not only adds to the looks, but serves as a layer of protection from the elements as well. At the bottom, we have the embossed Rough Country logo, and the main draw for this one is going to be that 20-inch light bar, which is featured prominently right up front of the bull bar. And that thing is not just for looks, as it throws a lot of light out of the front of your truck. It features Cree LEDs throughout. They throw about 7,200 lumens or 90 watts, and it has a waterproof aluminum housing that is sure to stand up to the moisture you'll run into during daily use or on the trails. As a package, I think this thing looks really good. The way the light bar integrates into the front right here is perfect. You can really tell that Rough Country designed the bull bar around the bumper. The fit is seamless. Also, the looks and design of the bull bar in general, I think are really good. This plate here looks really good. This powder coating does look nice and smooth and even in its application, so definitely great points. Well done there, Rough Country. Now, if I had to nitpick, this isn't going to be your end-all be-all in front-end protection. As this upper bar here isn't supported, I would have liked to have seen Rough Country add another support there that goes through this lower grill and just attaches to a nice secure spot. Another thing about this one is the light bar is a little bit difficult to adjust once it's all installed on the truck. So if you plan on adjusting that frequently, that is something to think about. But all in all, I think this does make for a nice package. It goes together seamlessly, and for the price you pay, you do get a lot of features with this one. As far as pricing goes, we're looking at around $280. Now that is going to be on the high side for bull bars in general, but for this one, you do get a lot of features factored into that price. You are getting a warranty, so there's a 5-year warranty on the bull bar. You're also getting a 3-year warranty on the light bar, both offered from Rough Country. You're also getting the included wiring harness and switch, as well as a fuse and relay on there as well, and all the hardware you need to get this installed. So all in all, again, as a package, I really do think this is a great deal. If you were looking to save a little bit of money though, Rough Country does offer a similarly designed bull bar without that light bar integrated into the front for around $100 cheaper. As far as install goes, there is going to be a little bit of cutting on the splash guard plastic to allow our brackets to fit through, and some optional cutting on the air dam if you did want to reinstall that after this is on. As it's pictured now, we do not have that installed. With that being said, I'm going to give it a 1 out of 3 wrenches on our difficulty meter. It should only take you around 3-4 hours to get this hooked up. So without any further ado, let me show you how it's done. Tools required for this install are going to be an impact, ratchet, 16mm wrench, extension, basic socket set ranging from 16mm all the way down to 10, U-joint, trim panel removal tool, 6mm Allen key, which these both are. This one does come included in the kit. This one I'm going to use on my ratchet just to speed things up a little bit. So for the first step of our install, we're actually going to be removing the grill. This is going to allow us easier access to those 14mm bumper bolts we need to get our brackets attached up to, so we're going to approach those from the top. Now to get the grill off, it is not too bad. The only thing that's holding it on are a couple push pin clips and 10mm screws, both of which we're going to get out of the way right now. The first screw is going to be right here. Now this is only in plastic, so you want to go slow when loosening and tightening this. Same thing goes for the next one. The push pins are going to be right next to the headlights. Now the grill's only held on with a couple of body clips, so give this a firm pull and it should come right off the truck. While we have the trim panel tool out, I'm just going to get these air dams out of the way. They're just held on with a single push pin as well. So once you get that push pin out, you pull straight out on this here. And it's got a couple clips. Once those are released, you could turn it and pull straight up to get it out of the truck. Now we're going to do the same thing for the other side. This is going to give us easy access to those bolts. Next, we're gonna work on the underside of our bumper. We need to get this air dam out of the way. There's 11 10mm bolts that hold it on, 7 up front and 4 in the back, 2 on either side. Now these 2 in the back are where the extension comes into play. If you don't have an extension, a Phillips head screwdriver will work just as easily. With the air dam out of the way, we're gonna hop back up top. There's 4 14mm nuts behind the bumper that we're gonna be removing, sliding our brackets on underneath, and then reinstalling. So now we're ready to install our driver's side bracket. It's the one with the D marks right here on the arm. Now this is going to come up from underneath, hang on those 2 studs in these holes right here, and then get secured with those factory 14mm nuts. Now depending on your truck, you might have to trim a little bit of that lower splash guard back to allow this to come up and through. It looks like ours has already been trimmed back, so we're just gonna go ahead and install this. Now at this point, I'm just gonna snug these 2 up so that it holds this bracket vaguely in place, but it's still movable. I'm gonna save the final tighten for these at the end. That's gonna give us enough wiggle room to make sure we have enough adjustment to line up our bull bar once we near the end of the install. But once these are snug, you can go ahead and do the same thing for the other side. So there is one more point of attachment for each of those brackets. It's this long 16mm bolt and nut I have in my hand right here. This is going to go through a cross member gusset in the back, through the bracket, and meet up with a nut on the other side. Now one thing I did want to touch on is going to use these spacers right here. That's just going to be like a washer on the back side, but it's actually going to sit in between the cross member and bracket itself on the front side. I'll show you how that works in just a second. As that bolt is coming through the back, you want to slide this spacer up in between and catch it, which is a little bit tricky, and then come through the bracket. Then secure this side with a washer, lock washer, and nut, and we're gonna tighten that down with a 16mm wrench and 16mm socket. I'm gonna leave this hand tight for now so we have some wiggle room later on. And we're just gonna do the same thing from the passenger side. With our brackets installed on the truck, we're ready to move over to our bull bar and start to do a little bit of prep work on it. We're gonna start with our light bar, which gets secured in these brackets right here with this small hardware. Now they do give you a 6mm Allen key included in the kit to snug that down. I'm gonna use mine on a ratchet just to speed things up a little bit. And when you're dropping this on, you wanna make sure that the plug is toward the driver's side. That's where the battery sits, and that's where it's going to give you the most amount of cordage to wire manage later on. Next, we're going to install these bull bar side brackets right here. They get secured through these threaded holes on the back of the bull bar right here and right here. We're gonna use the 13mm hardware included in the kit to do that. Now, when you are dropping these on, you wanna make sure that this bias side is going to be toward the outer side of the bull bar. Now you want to make sure this part of the bracket is centered over this tube, and this part is vertical with this lip at the top. Once you have that in place, you can tighten these all the way down. Same thing goes for the passenger side bracket. Before we hang our bull bar on the truck, now would be a great time, if your state requires it, to install that front license plate mounting bracket. If not, you could throw that to the side and get this mounted up to the truck using the largest 16mm hardware included in the kit. So with all the hardware in place, our bull bar is starting to take shape. All that's left to get our bull bar installed is lift it up, get it aligned, and tighten down all the hardware. Just like the nuts and bolts we just tightened down, that big bolt through the crossmember gusset is going to be a 16, same goes for the nut. The back of this bolt can be a little tough to reach, so I broke out a U-joint just so I have better access to that. Next, we're gonna hit those two 14mm bolts on either side behind the bumper. So while we have the grill taken apart, it's a great idea to knock out some of the wiring at this point. There are a dozen ways to do this. What I'm gonna do is come up behind our air dam here in through the battery tray. I'm gonna attach our positive and negative terminals, as well as this relay to the ground, which is right next to our battery. Now that doesn't have to be a ground, but that usually makes a nice spot to put that. And our switch, which is right here, can go through the firewall and into our cabin. For the negative terminal, I'm gonna go under this nut right here. It's a 10mm. For the positive terminal, I'm gonna go under this nut, which is a 12. And our relay could go to this ground right here, that's a 12. So our bull bar is installed and our light bar is all wired up. So all that's left for us to do is test it. And obviously it works great, looks great. So all you have left to do is fish this switch through the firewall. You can mount that wherever you like. It's even got an adhesive back. So from there, we're gonna put our grill back together, starting with the air dams that push pin into place. Then we're gonna clip our grill on, push pin that into place, and secure it with those two 10mm screws. Now we can slowly close the hood and make sure everything clears and lines up perfectly. Now there is one more thing I wanted to touch on. It's this air dam that we uninstalled in the beginning. You can reinstall this. You just need to make a couple of cuts so it clears the brackets. But personally, I think it looks good without it. And leaving this off even gets you a little bit of extra clearance up front. But that is going to do it for my review and install of the Rough Country Bull Bar with 20-inch LED light bar in black, fitting all 16 and newer Tacomas. Make sure you remember to subscribe for more videos like this one and all things Tacoma.